Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are finally here. We are here. We here. We're finally here, ladies and gentlemen. It is game day. Game one of the New York Knicks versus the Atlanta Hawks. First round battle. I know you're amped. I'm amped. I'm pumped up. You know what I'm saying? In 1 hour, ladies and gentlemen, the Knicks are going to play their first playoff game in, I don't know, since 2013. Since 2013. All this great stuff up here wasn't here back then. Wasn't here back then, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. I know you're excited. I'm excited. I can't wait till this thing kicks off. We're going to do a nice little breakdown, game preview like we normally do, of the New York Knicks versus the Atlanta Hawks. Talk about some of the other games before we get to that, though. Of course, right now you got the Phoenix Suns and the Los Angeles Lakers battling it out in Arizona. Right? And at the moment, and I'm going to bring you over in just a second, Nate, as soon as we do some updates. Well, actually, the Phoenix Suns defeated the Lakers 99-90. Pretty sure that's going to be a chippy series. I don't think the Lakers are done, so pay attention to that. 99-90, the Suns defeat the Lakers in game one. DeAndre Ayton, 21 points, 16 rebounds. LeBron James had 18.7 rebounds and 10 assists. The 76ers, they took out the Washington Wizards, 125-118. Tobias Harris for the 76ers had 37 points, 6 rebounds, and 2 assists. Bradley Beal had 33 points, 10 rebounds, and 6 assists for the Washington Wizards. Of course, later on tonight, you'll see the Utah Jazz and the Memphis Grizzlies. And at 7 p.m. tonight, you're going to see the Atlanta Hawks coming into Madison Square Garden to take on the New York Knicks. That's the game we're all waiting for. I know that's the game I'm waiting for that's coming on next. Last night, the Milwaukee Bucks, they beat the Miami Heat in overtime, 109-107. But I tell you what, I still think the Miami Heat can win that series. I really do. I think they can win that series. Think they can take the Bucks out the first round. What happens to the Bucks going forward if they lose in the first round, I don't know. But I do believe Miami can beat this team. Giannis Antetokounmpo had 26 points and 18 rebounds. Jimmy Butler had 17 points, 10 rebounds, and 8 assists. The Dallas Mavericks, they beat the Los Angeles Clippers in L.A. yesterday, 113-103. I have the Clippers winning that series, but watch out, man. Watch out. And if the same question goes for the Clippers. If they lose in the first round, how does that team break down? What happens? A lot of questions. Kawhi Leonard had 26 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists. Luka the Don, he had a triple-double, 31 points, 10 rebounds, and 11 assists. The Boston Celtics, they put up a fight with the Brooklyn Nets last night, but in the end, it was just too much. Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, James Harden, too much of that. Kevin Durant last night had 32 points, 12 rebounds, 1 assist. Jason Tatum had 22 points, 3 rebounds, and 5 assists for the Celtics, but the Nets pulled it out 104-93 in a rare display of defensive intensity by the Brooklyn Nets. We'll see if they can continue that. Then the Portland Trailblazers went into Denver and upset the Denver Nuggets 123-109. And I'm going to tell you what. Like the Trailblazers or not, watch out for the Trailblazers, man. I do think that they are poised and they are focused. They may not have had the best record and they're up and down, but I do feel like that team has enough bravado to upset some people and to make some noise. To make some noise in these playoffs. You know, of course, out west, it's a dogfight, ladies and gentlemen. There's a lot of good, strong teams out in the Western Conference, so it's definitely a dogfight there. But anyway, listen, the New York Knicks, they're playing the Atlanta Hawks today at home. Congratulations to all Knicks fans who are in attendance. I do want to announce to you that if you're planning on going to the game on Wednesday and you haven't picked up tickets, hit me up. Hit me up. I put this out to my members first. Haven't had a response. So I decided, hey, I was going to wait till tomorrow. Haven't really seen much of a response. If you want tickets, you can buy. You can't get them from Ticketmaster or MSG because they're sold out. But I got some for you. I only got 2 left. Seats 19 and 20, center court, section 210, row 17. If you want them, you can hit me up. And you'll get it cheaper than you will on StubHub, SeatGeek, Vivid Seats, all of that, because you're not going to pay any fees. All right? I'm going to put my email in the YouTube chat and pin it to the top of the chat so you can hit me up if you're interested in those tickets. Yeah, let's get in. Let's talk about this. Let's break this game down, man. I got my buddy Nate here so we can really start getting into this game. I'm excited, ladies and gentlemen. I'm excited. Let me bring him on over here. Nate, what's poppin' with you, my brother? How you feeling?
Good, man. It's game day. It's finally here. Just ready to get this thing tipped off, man.
Finally
been
here,
waiting
man.
a long time, and
yeah. We've been waiting a very long time for the New York Knicks and the Atlanta Hawks to, well, first of all, for the New York Knicks to be in the playoffs, and then, we're in this series. We know they're playing the Hawks, and this is the first time that I remember that we've had a week before the playoffs began. And kind of like the Super Bowl, right? You have a week, 2 weeks, or whatever it is of, teams preparing for the Super Bowl, and you got media days, and you got all this stuff going on and all these activities. And if this continues, I can picture the NBA playoffs being something similar, right? Where that week between the season ending and you're having a play-in tournament and playoff games begin, when things really do open back up, you got that week in the cities where the playoffs is about to pop off. You got activities going on and all kinds of things like that. So, the NBA has a plan for what they did. But, that week was excruciating for a lot of fans, especially Knicks fans. We couldn't wait for this team to get back out there on the floor. Finally, it's here.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's here.
It's been a minute.
Yeah. And I do want to say the phone lines are open, ladies and gentlemen. Give me a call, 516-452-46. I want to know your thoughts before this game. We got about 40 minutes to go, 50 minutes to go before the game. And, of course, I'll be on in a pregame show, which is going to be about 9 to 9:30, somewhere in there. We're going to jump right on and we're going to talk Knicks. So make sure you join us on the pregame show. All right, so give me your initial thoughts about this game. The post-game show. So give me your initial thoughts on this game, Nate.
If you look at this series, the whole season, it was pretty close. I mean, these teams are pretty similar in a lot of aspects. I think the Hawks are a lot better once they made the change to Nate McMillan as coach. They've played a lot better. The defense has gotten a lot better. Honestly, with the Hawks, it just starts with Trae Young. I mean, he's the engine that makes it go. So if you can find a way to shut him down or make him uncomfortable, the Hawks are going to struggle because, Trae Young is kind of like CP3 is to the Suns. Without CP3, they struggle. They don't have that movement and the motion that they run their offense with. Trae Young kind of gets everybody in their places. So, as Knicks fans, we want to definitely see that defense tighten on Trae Young and make him earn it in every aspect, make him work, especially on the defense and the offensive end, and tire him out because he's a small guy. He's not a big guy. So, you can definitely get up on him and make him uncomfortable.
Well, that's going to be the problem. You know what I'm saying? To me, dealing with Trae Young, and Clint Capella, to me, that's definitely the issue. One of the biggest things that we've got to focus on in this game here. How do we stop that screen and roll? And I have that in my keys to the game. We're going to look at the keys to the game a little bit later, but that's in my keys in the game. How do we stop that pick and roll? And I think it's going to be, that's going to be vital. It's going to be vital because I believe the Knicks can beat this team easy. But if we don't stop that screen and roll, we're going to be in trouble. We will be in trouble. I can guarantee you that. We don't stop the screen and roll, we'll be in trouble. Now, what you see on the screen here, and I'm sure you've been looking at it for a few minutes, and these stats really don't mean much, but it's all we got to go by. And you looked at these stats throughout the past week or so. You know, I had it on the show. Steph had it on the show. We're going to go on it again. We're going to talk about it again. The New York Knicks versus the Atlanta Hawks, they averaged 124.3 points per game. They shot 51.7% from the field, 47.8% from three. They averaged 25.7 free throw attempts per game, and they shot 80.5%. Offensive rebounds, the Knicks grabbed 9.7 offensive rebounds against this team throughout the season. They grabbed 35.7 defensive rebounds. They out-rebounded this team, but still, rebounding is an issue. I don't want that to be misconstrued. Rebounding is an issue because Clint Capella is an issue because he's a monster at grabbing those offensive rebounds. They averaged 25.7 assists. The Knicks averaged 14 turnovers per game against this team. It's imperative that we take care of the basketball because they can get out and run. I did some video breakdown that you probably saw if you follow the channel of the different ways that they can fast break. And if we don't, we'll talk about that in a minute. But if we don't stop them from scoring in transition, we're in trouble. There's a lot of things that if we don't do, we're going to be in trouble. The Hawks against us over the season, of course, we won all three games. We'll look at those scores in a second. The Hawks averaged 115.7 points per game. They shot 45.6% from the field, 33.7% from three. They, too, averaged 26 free throw attempts and shot it at 81%. Okay, so that's, it's about the same. And what's crazy is in each one of those games, it seemed like Trae Young was killing us, getting fouled, and killing us. But it kind of evened out, I guess. And we averaged the same amount of free throw attempts and shot about the same from the stripe. Okay, so that's good. They averaged 11 offensive rebounds, 30 defensive rebounds. Right? Again, yes, we out-rebounded them for the season, but please don't let it fool you. Because if we don't get on those boards, we will be in trouble. They averaged 23 assists and 11.3 turnovers per game. Those are the stats between the two teams against each other this season. And, of course, the Knicks won the season series on April 21st. The Knicks won the game 137 to 127 at Madison Square Garden. Again, or before that game on February 15th, the Knicks won at the Garden 123 to 112. And then the first game that they played them on January 4th at State Farm Arena, the Knicks beat them 113 to 108. All of these games were closer than these scores look. So let's not let the scores actually fool us out there. All right, they were closer than those scores look, ladies and gentlemen. Let me get back up here. I got my man Josh just joined us. Josh, what's popping with you, brother? How you feeling?
Salute. What's going on, everybody? Salute MBK fam. Salute. Nate, what's going on?
Salute to you, my brother.
It's game one, playoff time. We here. Let's do it. You know what I mean? Let's do it.
Let's do it. What's your initial thoughts on this game, man?
Well, I mean, it's going to be a tough series. I really want the Knicks to show up. All that hard work we put in during the regular season, I really want them to translate that into this first playoff matchup. So I'm excited. It's been a long time coming for us Knicks fans. We've been, in the dungeon for a very long time. So this is our time to show out and show what we're really about. I think this matchup is your typical 4-5 matchup, really, really close. I think that the seeding was separated by like one game or something like that. So your typical 4-5 matchup, it can go either way. That's what most people are predicting us to go 7 games. Now, I do predict the same thing. So I'm excited, Sam.
You're predicting it to go 7 games?
Yeah, I had to come off that Knicks in 5. I think it's gonna be closer than just.
You had Knicks. See,
5.
I never had Knicks in 5. I got Knicks in 6.
Initially, I was real high on them, but I think it's gonna be Knicks in 7. Knicks in 7.
I got Knicks in 6. I got them in 6. I think we can win in Atlanta. Right? I got them in 6, but I wouldn't be surprised if it does go 7. You know what I mean? It's going to be an exciting and crazy series for the Hawks, for the Knicks, both of these teams, young, upstart teams in the playoffs, young players that never experienced that never experienced the playoffs. I think the Knicks maybe have more experience than the Hawks do, which hopefully will benefit the Knicks. Hopefully. We'll see how that turns out. All right. Injuries, no serious injuries for the New York Knicks, besides what you already know, that Mitchell Robinson's not going to be playing. Right? And that's no surprise to anyone who's been like that for a very long time. All right. So, and now I do believe that Mitchell Robinson is, working out and he's not in the cast or anything like that. He is working out, but he's not going to be, at least in the first round, he wouldn't be playing now. If the Knicks were to advance, maybe we do see some Mitchell Robinson on the floor if they advance. Right, but right now, we shouldn't expect to see Mitchell Robinson at any time. Of course, Luka Vildoza, he is in New York, but he can't even be with the team for 6 days due to COVID protocol, and then he can start practicing with the team and, be on the bench and do all of those type of things. Okay, so the lineup that you've been seeing for the last 20 games, that's the lineup that you should expect, or the players, let me say the players. Those are the players that you should expect tonight and going forth in these playoffs. Okay? Now, I want to take a look, ladies and gentlemen, at the lineups and talk about some of these matchups and battles. All right? And, of course, we know for the past week or so. Oh, actually, before I get to that, let me talk about the Atlanta Hawks, because they do have some injuries. I don't know how significant they are, but Cam Reddish is out, right? He has an Achilles. He's been cleared to start unrestricted individual workouts and limited participation in team practices. He will be reviewed in 10 to 14 days. So he's out. He's not playing for a while. And that was May 20th. All right, that was just a couple of days ago. He's out. Brandon Goodwin, he's going to miss the remainder of the season due to a respiratory condition that requires treatment. Who knows if that has anything to do with COVID or anything like that. But I'll say Brandon Goodwin was that point guard that came in when Trae Young went out when we played him the second time, right? And guess what? He came in and he played some good basketball. So, that could be a little bit of a blow for the Atlanta Hawks. I'm pretty sure that they have I don't want to say I'm pretty sure. We know that they have a deep bench. They got Lou Williams. Yeah, they got Lou Williams out there. But he came in and he played good basketball for the Hawks. He came in and he knocked down some threes. Right? Obviously, he didn't run that screen and roll the way that Trae Young runs the screen and roll. But he came in and did some positive things for the Hawks. So that's a guy that probably wouldn't have played unless you need him, in an emergency. And so now it's like, okay, obviously, he's not there. So that those type of things can be a blow. You never know. You need all the players you can get. Trust me. I know. I just came from a tournament where I only had 6 players. You need all the people you can get sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Let's take a look at the lineups, though. And here we go. Projected starting lineups for these two teams. Of course, you got Elfrid Payton, the maligned, whatever the word is, the much maligned Elfrid Payton.
The enigma. Expected
to be in the starting lineup. I expect him to be. Elfrid Payton, Reggie Bullock, R.J. Barrett, Julius Randle, Nerlens Noel. And then, for the Atlanta Hawks, Trae Young, Bogdanovich, Tony Snell, John Collins, and Clint Capella. Let's start with the first obvious matchup. Elfrid Payton, Trae Young. That's the matchup to start the game. It's not going to be the matchup throughout the game, right? You're going to see Derrick Rose out there dealing with Trae Young. You're going to see Emmanuel Quickley out there dealing with Trae Young. And maybe even Reggie Bullock switching off to him or whoever switching off to him every once in a while. But Elfrid Payton's on him to start the game, right? And we want to set the tone. So what do we need Elfrid Payton to do to set the tone in this playoff series? Because game one, a lot of times, can set the tone. So we need to come out and set the tone Nate, I'll start with you. What do you want to see Peyton doing? Just give it to me 30 seconds, man. 30 to 45 seconds. What do you want to see him do to set the tone?
Real easy, man. Frustrate Trae Young.
How's he do that?
Get in his head. I mean, be rough on him, be physical on him, make him overthink sometimes, you know, just really be like a glue and stick to him the whole time when he's in the game.
Okay. Josh?
I think in order to defend the screen and roll, we got to continue doing what we've been doing. Play team defense. Helping out, closing out on our shooters to prevent those easy passes from getting through. Preventing cross-court passes, because I know a lot of times when we play the screen and roll, we tend to give up those cross-court passes, which those can never happen at all. And like Nate said, just kind of frustrate him, getting his head a little bit. And believe it or not, I think Elfrid Payton is going to be the key. I think he's going to give us some very important minutes, this series. And like my boy Lee in the chat said, if Elfrid Payton can give us at least 10 plus points per game in this series, I think we win. So I think that's the best way to break down that point guard matchup right there.
But what does he do? What does he do to get in his head? That's my question. What does he do to get in his head?
Well, I mean, just kind of be aggressive with him, be more physical with him. Trae Young is not the biggest guy in the world. Without fouling, of course. I know Trae Young is really good at getting those fouls. But if Elfrid Payton can just be a little bit more physical with him than he is with any other guard, try to get up in his space and his I forgot what you call it, your airspace or whatever the case may be. I think that can really frustrate Trae Young and force him to commit some terrible turnovers and make some mistakes that can send us on the way.
Also, I don't know if Peyton will do this, but maybe trash talk a little bit. You know, maybe try to.
It's not his game.
I mean, you never know with players in the playoffs, man. Things get heated, it gets more chippy. You know, I just think be really physical with him because that's going to piss off Trae Young. And if Trae Young's not getting the calls, that's how you get in his head. And then Trae Young tries to go more one-on-one because he wants to expose Peyton, and that's pretty much what Knicks fans, in a sense, want. You rather have Trae Young just go one-on-one than have Trae Young give it everybody else involved, you know. And I think Peyton's a good enough defender that he can handle Trae Young one-on-one as best as possible. You know, I just don't want him to get everybody else involved.
Yeah.
Because when you get everybody else involved, then you're going to make it harder for your defense.
Yeah. So I have two things that I'm reading from the chat that I'd like to comment on. The first one is Stafford Don. Hopefully I said it correctly. He said, post him up. He's bigger, should be stronger. I just don't know if Peyton can just operate in the post. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
yeah.
You know, he already has trouble just converting on layups. Now, if you put him in the post and you're just using him to bang him around, and if you get a bucket or two out of it, I just don't know if that's going to be the game plan, right? To put Peyton in the post against Trae Young.
Yeah.
You know, now you're asking him to do something that maybe he just has no experience doing at all. You know, and then we're stepping outside of what we do as a team. Rafael Diaz, he said, I really liked how the Knicks set the tone against Phoenix and CP3. They deflected many of his passes, and Nerlens Noel was even able to get a steal against CP3. It would be nice if the Knicks defend. And I think that is how you can frustrate him. If you can find a way, if Elfrid Payton can play good enough defense to, just rattle him a little bit. Get your hands in there. Maybe he gets a turnover too early in the game. You know, some things like that. Then, you know, maybe you get him rattled, especially since it's being his first playoffs. The Garden is going to be rocking. You know what I mean? So maybe you can get him a little bit rattled in that way. Right, if he starts to create some early turnovers. And I guess those are the type of things. Peyton just has to be a pest. We're not going to expect Peyton to score and to do a whole lot of things. Just be a pest. I was watching the Portland Trail Blazers and the Denver Nuggets last night. And Campazzo, that's his name, right? Campazzo. He's not going to score like Damian Lillard. Huh? What'd you say?
Facundo. Yeah, Campazzo.
Yeah, whatever. I don't want to butcher his name, but you know what I'm saying. He's not going to score like Damian Lillard can score the basketball, right? He's not going to do those things. But he was pestful, if that's a word. He was pestful. right? He was getting in Damian Lillard's airspace. He was making Damian Lillard work for everything that he had to get. And he was getting frustrated. He was getting under Damian Lillard's skin. Now, Damian Lillard had 34 points and 13 assists. You know, and maybe it was the wrong thing for Campazzo to get under his skin. I don't know. Because maybe that made him want to do what he did. Campazzo last night had 8 points and 5 assists, 2 steals and 3 rebounds. But he was a pest. Very pesty. And that's what I think Peyton can do and needs to do. Right? I do feel like recently he's lost, okay, what is my role, and not understanding what he needs to do as far as the game plan on the floor. You know what I mean? So I do think he's lost some of that, even though he's playing a limited role, only 13 minutes a game. But in those 13 minutes, if you can just be a pest, you've done your job. And that's all we need him to be, just be a pest. Get under people's skin and make them mad. You know what I mean? And hopefully that takes them out of their game. Let's talk about the next matchup. This is Reggie Bullock and Bogdanovich. Two players who actually have kind of a similar role on their teams. Reggie Bullock may be a little bit different, right? Both players, their role is to spot up, shoot threes, come off screens, grab the ball, and pull up on the drop of a dime. That's their role on this team. Bogdanovich is probably more athletic than Reggie Bullock. He could probably do more with the ball than Reggie Bullock can as far as going to the cup or even creating a little bit on his own. Reggie Bullock is a better defender than Bogdanovich. But Reggie Bullock's going to have to be on his game defensively against this guy. Obviously, we need Reggie Bullock to score as well, but he's going to have to be on his game against Bogdanovich. Josh, your thoughts on this matchup here?
Oh, well, I totally agree with you. I think that they do play the same role as far as the offensive standpoint is concerned. But I think where Reggie has the advantage is Reggie can be able to switch off anytime, the Hawks try to do that type of pick and roll where it's like late in the shot clock or late in the game. Reggie Bullock can switch off and go onto the other ball handler and play defense on the ball handler. So I think Reggie has the advantage in this matchup, and we just got to have Reggie, come out and knock down some threes early to get us, feed off that energy of the crowd and get us, out to a big lead to start the game. And if he does that, I feel like we'll be in good shape. But if he comes out cold, then that's a different story, obviously.
Yeah. Your thoughts, Nate, on that matchup.
3 and D. I mean, that's what Reggie does. He shoots threes and he plays defense. Reggie needs to use his length against Bogdanovich. Bogdanovich is a very streaky shooter. When he's on, he can make some buckets. You definitely don't want him getting off. So, I mean, Reggie's going to have to do a good job of sticking to him. When he comes off screens, don't go under the screens with him, because the guy can shoot. He's a good shooter, but he's just streaky at times. And, Reggie just needs to do what he does best, play defense and shoot threes. That's what he does. I
think the one thing that you just said right there, go over those screens, don't go under. That's important. That is so important right now for the Knicks versus Bogdanovich and even versus Trae Young a little bit. And excuse my dogs in the background, they're getting excited because they thought they heard someone come to the door. They always do that. But anyway, yes, go over that screen, because if you go under the screen, that guy can catch the ball on his toes, bang, and knock it down. So you've got to go over that screen, right, if he's coming off of a screen. And if you can jam him up from even getting over top of that screen, that's even better. That's even better. All right. But, yeah, we're going to have to be on a game with that guy. Look, and another thing with Bogdanovich and with Trae Young, where the Knicks really have to pay attention to, we were just talking about that. We were talking about the transition basketball. Right, and the way the way the Hawks can play transition basketball. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, these guys can get the ball. You can score. They'll get the ball out the net, and they can score in transition. They can get the rebound, go out and score in transition. They can get a steal, score in transition. They can score on a secondary break, meaning the first fast break was stopped, but then somebody comes down and sets a quick screen for Trae Young, and they run that screen and roll. They can score in the secondary break. We've really got to be careful on these on the fast break, and I did a whole video about it. You're not going to have time to look at that tonight before the game because I want you to stay here and talk to me. But if you get a chance to, because I'm pretty sure we might see some of that fast breaking tonight, or hopefully we don't. You'll get a chance to see what I'm talking about. But there's one particular play where Clint Capella, I believe, takes the ball out of bounds. He gets it to Trae Young. Now, we scored. He gets it to Trae Young. Bogdanovich runs up the sideline. Trae Young finds him up the sideline, catches on his toes, bam, knocks it down. And actually, he came from across the court. Right pass in front of R.J. Barrett, catches it, boom, knocks down a three. This was not a fast break, ladies and gentlemen. This was after a New York Knicks score. So, yes, it's very important that after a make, it's very important that we're ready to play transition basketball. In all of those videos, those breakdowns that I showed you, the Knicks were getting back on defense with their back to the basketball. Trae Young is going to recognize that. The players on that team are going to recognize it. And they're going to get up the floor, get in their spots, get in their positions, and look to score the basketball. So that transition defense, to me, is imperative tonight. And Bogdanovich is a big part of that transition defense.
Hey, Sam, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Do you think the Knicks should maybe try to pick up Trae Young full court, to take away the airspace?
I was about to say that.
From anywhere.
Yeah. Go ahead, Josh. Follow up with it, and then we'll.
No. Yeah, I was just going to follow up with that. I was going to say that maybe they can do that, but the reason why I don't think that they necessarily will is because if Derrick Rose is out there, you're not going to pick up Trae Young full court with Derrick Rose.
Right.
So this might be an opportunity for Frank Ntilikina to get in the game, to give some minutes to guard Trae Young that way. Put some pressure on the ball in the backcourt, just to prevent them from getting clean passes down the court past the half court line. But I don't see the Knicks doing that because of Derrick Rose, and they want to save his legs as much as possible. So it is a possibility though if they use Frank.
Yeah, and I do think
you got 6 fouls of Frank, man. Take advantage of that.
Yeah, I do think you pick him up and go some full court on him because it's going to make him work, right? So now he's really got to work and expend some energy. If you just let him dribble the basketball up and get ready for that pick and roll, you're letting him rest a little bit. Make him work. Make him expend some energy. Make him have to think, right? And also, it helps to stop that break. But everybody else has to be on their game defensively as well, to make sure that you put some pressure on them, but someone doesn't get loose up the court and boom, they're scoring easily. The last thing we want to do is allow them to score easy. Another matchup in this lineup is R.J. Barrett and Tony Snell. Okay, now Tony Snell can knock down threes, but he's also out there for defense. All right, R.J. Barrett can knock down threes. He's out there to score. He's out there to be, in this lineup, he's out there to be our second best scorer. Right? We're going to need R.J. Barrett, man. We really need R.J. Barrett to come through. I do get concerned that good defensive players have been able to kind of, take R.J. Barrett out of the game sometimes. Okay? With this matchup with Tony Snell, any fear of R.J. Barrett being his first time in the playoffs, maybe freezing up with a guy like Snell on him?
He's going to have moments, I think, because one thing about R.J. Barrett is, and I've talked to you about this many a times with his game, he needs to be better at taking it to the rim and finishing. And he hasn't done that very often, or at least more consistent than I'd like to see. I think this matchup, he could expose Snell's foot speed and get to that paint and try and finish. But if he lets Snell, if he lets Snell guard him, yeah, it's gonna be tough for RJ because Snell's got a lot of length.
Yeah, he does. Josh, what do you think?
So yeah, I absolutely agree with that. I think RJ Barrett, there's no question he needs to step up. I think if he steps up, the Knicks obviously have a better chance, and that's what anybody have. But he's the second best player on this team, and he definitely needs to show up. A first playoff game or not, he has to come out and play his game. I'm not saying take all the shots and just jack up shots, but at the same time, play his game. Let the game come to him, and please, for God's sake, get to the free throw line. not go invisible, be out there, play your defense. But definitely, when the opportunity is there, try to get to the lane and get to the free throw line because the team is going to need you to do that as well. So we'll see how RJ comes out. And I think this is definitely a winnable matchup for him.
Yeah, okay. Let me get this phone call here. Before I get to the phone call, let me remind you can call in 516-405-2246. Also, I just put it in the YouTube chat. It's pinned to the top of the chat. If you want tickets, I have 2 tickets remaining, 2 tickets left, available for Wednesday's playoff game. It's $250 per ticket, fully vaccinated seats, so you got to be fully vaccinated. Section 210, row 17, seats 19 and 20, so they're center court, and it's $250. No extra fees, ladies and gentlemen, like you'll get on Vivid Seats or anything like that. No extra fees. So make sure you reach out to me, srussell@nothingbutnicks.com. My email is right there where you can click on it and email me if you're interested. All right. Calling you live. What's poppin'? My man AK, you there? Oh, I guess AK rolled up out of there. I thought he was there. He must have rolled up out of there. Okay, let's get to the next matchup. Julius Randle, John Collins. Now, for the season, this is what Julius Randle has done for the season versus the Atlanta Hawks. And I thought I had it there. Hold up. Give me 1 second. I got a black screen up there. And no, that's not where we're going. But let me get this back to you. Anyway, I'll pull that up in just a second. I don't know what happened. I thought it was up there. But Julius Randle against the Hawks, ladies and gentlemen, he's basically dominated against the Hawks this season. All right, dominated. He's averaged 37 points, 12 rebounds, 7 assists. The Hawks just have not had an answer for Julius Randle. And here we go. You can see it now. 37.3 points per game, 12.3 rebounds, 7 assists, 58% from the field, and 50% from 3. We need Julius Randle to be this Julius Randle, I think. I don't want him to force it, but we need him to be this Julius Randle. The Hawks now have not, this season, during the season, they didn't double Julius Randle. They didn't double him. Do you expect the Hawks to double Julius Randle? And do you think Julius Randle will continue to play this level of basketball against the Hawks? I don't think John Collins has an answer for Julius Randle, which is the reason why I think Nate McMillan has to look at some not lineup adjustments, but defensive adjustments. What do you think? What do you think, Josh?
I agree. I think the Atlanta Hawks definitely have to throw a double team at Julius Randle. They have to get the ball out of his hands. Julius Randle, I expect to have, up there in assists over at least, 10 assists this series, because I expect the Hawks to throw that double team at him. And it's up to the others on the Knicks to make shots and make shots when it counts. But there's no question that it starts and ends with Julius Randle. The ball has to be in his hands. And if the Hawks come to double team, get that ball out of there, let's swing it around, let's get a good shot. So I definitely agree that the Hawks are going to double team him.
Yeah.
They have to.
Yeah, they definitely have to. And I get a little bit nervous because Julius Randle sometimes with those double teams, it's not always on point. He's got to be on point in these playoffs, especially like when you're looking at the regular season, teams, they game plan against you. But, it's just so many different things going on during the regular season. Now, in the playoffs, the spotlights are directly on you. And teams see what other teams, what your opponents do, and things that they do that are effective, and they adopt some of that, and put it into their game plan, right? So we need Randle to show that he can be strong through that double team, strong passes to the open shooter, and he's done that, but he has had the tendency to get a little sloppy with those double teams. You've seen it against LA coming down the stretch in the overtime. The Knicks up and he traveled. I don't know if it was a travel. Maybe he got slapped around, but it's going to be physical. He traveled, right? So we need him to be able to handle those double teams, kick the ball out, make sure we're swinging it fast, boom, 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 knock down the open shot. We need him to step through, continue to step through like he has been doing all season long, step through the double team, kick it out for an open shot. Reggie Bullock, RJ Barrett, Derrick Rose, Emmanuel Quickly, Alec Burks, all of those guys. And we need these guys to be on the money. And then,
so a couple of thoughts. Oh,
go ahead. No, go ahead. You got it, Nate.
So a couple of thoughts that come to my mind with Julius Randle is that this is where stars are born. This is where your best players shine. You know, if people want to say Julius Randle's a star or superstar, whatever you want to call him, this is his chance to show it. You know, because this is where the players come out. Like RJ Barrett, same thing. This is where RJ Barrett can shine going forward for the Knicks. Second of all, I actually think that don't be surprised if the Hawks switch up Capella on Randle because of Capella's length. And you know, yeah, he's a skinny guy, but he's got length on Randle, and he could probably alter some shots. So don't be surprised. Right, it definitely does. It does work in our favor if Randle can expose him. If he can't expose him, then that's going to make it hard because then you're going to free up John Collins against Nerlens Noel, which John Collins is not a great defender, but he's pretty athletic. He can get up. He's an above the rim kind of dude if he gets opportunities. You know, but you definitely want to get Randle in his spots and get him going early, because if Randle's struggling, he's going to get frustrated, and then the team's going to get frustrated, and then before you know it, the Knicks are just going to have problems left and right.
Well, I think whether Randle, if they put Capella on Randle and whether he exposes them or not, I don't think it would matter. I think that works in our favor because you take Capella out the paint. Then you take Capella out the paint. Randle can drag him out to the perimeter, go to work on him. If it works, whatever. If it doesn't, whatever. But that's less. You know, we don't have Capella in the paint to grab up all those rebounds. So I don't think the Hawks are going to do that. It might help them in defending Randle, but at the same time, I think they lose too much in the paint if they take Capella out of there. So.
I do agree. I think they lose a lot in the paint, and I don't know. I don't know if can Capella guard Randle on the perimeter, right? If Randle takes it to the high post, I feel like Randle, he'll take it past him. He'll take it past him. I feel. I do want to. Someone in the chat, Quicks with it. He said, "That's crazy. No one talks about Rose as a starter. Trust me, Quicks. That's been a discussion for a very long time. So what I'm going to ask you to do, Quicks, is subscribe to the channel. And anyone who's not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. All right? Hit that like button. And then go back and check out some of the old videos. We've had that discussion. And what we kind of realize now, and it could change once the game starts. But Thibodeau's probably going to go with what he's been doing because it's what's worked so far. And he doesn't want to screw around with the consistency and chemistry that the team does have. There's no doubt about that. Elfrid Payton hasn't been playing well the last 25 games. There's no doubt about it. But I still think that Tom Thibodeau is going to stay strong with what he's been doing. Until something really says you got to make this change right now because it's just killing us. Last, Nerlens Noel, Clint Capella. All right, this is big. Because Clint Capella, ladies and gentlemen, he's a beast in grabbing those offensive rebounds. He's a beast in that screen and roll with Trae Young. We need Nerlens Noel to be on point in guarding that screen and roll. Because Trae Young is going to exploit any little mistake that you make. And if you've seen the video breakdown that I did about the screen and roll, on this one screen and roll, it's just so clear the way that Trae Young can exploit just a small mistake. Trae Young came off the screen from Clint Capella, and the Knicks basically defended it well. Right? Elfrid Payton was slowly trailing the play, but you had Julius Randle there who could hold Trae Young off until Elfrid Payton got back in front of the play. Or if Nerlens Noel defended Clint Capella the correct way, the ball would have got kicked out to John Collins and Julius Randle would have been able to recover. Instead, Nerlens Noel took a stab at Trae Young, which means he had to move his feet towards Trae Young, or his feet stopped moving, which means Clint Capella had a nice open lane to the basket. And, of course, Trae Young found him. Nerlens Noel, Clint Capella. Josh, what do you think, man?
This one is going to be kind of tough for me because, Nerlens Noel's been playing really well throughout the season, with the exception of when he plays these bigger bruising centers. But with Clint Capella, even though he's not a bigger bruiser type, he is a strong guy who can go out and grab 14 rebounds. So we definitely got to keep him off the glass. I expect Nerlens Noel to have his typical block party the entire night. But I think Taj Gibson's a little bit better at defending the pick and roll than Nerlens. But this is going to be interesting to see how Tibbs use those guys in the rotation, and how often he's going to get Taj Gibson on the floor to defend that pick and roll. But I think it'll be a good matchup, and hopefully Nerlens can do what he's been doing the entire season, holding his own down there in the paint. So we'll see.
Yeah.
I want.
No, go ahead, Nate.
Okay. Yeah, I want to see just Nerlens be the rim protector he's been all season. Protect that rim, block shots at a high rate, alter shots if needed. But also, too, don't get in stupid fouls, man. I mean, because I really do not want to see Capella versus Gibson a lot. Because Gibson's 35 or 37 years old, man, and Capella's got a good foot speed. I feel like you just tire out Gibson if he has to play a lot. So Noel needs to be smart. He needs to not get stupid fouls. Definitely don't get those fouls where, you're going across the court and it's a fast break and you just tag somebody because you want to stop a fast break. Don't get stupid fouls. Just be smart. If you're going to get a good foul, make it a hard foul, that's going to alter a shot or something like that. But don't get dumb fouls. And just be the rim protector you are. That's basically what he is. He's a rim protector. That's all we really need for him to do right now. Yeah. And maybe catch some lobs here and there.
All right. Yeah, we'll see. It's going to be an interesting matchup. Somebody the other day said that they thought Nerlens Noel could get exposed. We'll see. Let me get to a caller. Caller, you live. What's popping? Hey, yo. All right. They're not answering. Anyway, the bench is going to be critical, right? Someone just brought up Derrick Rose and, him being the starter. Listen, essentially, he is your starter. He's playing starter minutes, okay? So Derrick Rose, while he's going to come in, maybe around the same time that Lou Williams comes in, once he gets in the game, he's not coming out until the end of the half, all right? So, he's still going to match up with Trae Young. I do want to talk about how you want to see Derrick Rose match up with Trae Young and what you want to see him do. For me, it's about putting pressure on Trae Young, obviously playing good defense, but making Trae Young have to work as well. Derrick Rose is one guy that can do it. He can make Trae Young work because he can score the basketball. Right, but for the Knicks off the bench, Derrick Rose, Emmanuel Quickly, Alec Burks, Obi Toppin, and Taj Gibson. I think it's going to be the same. I think Obi Toppin is important. Even if he's not scoring, just play defense and grab a couple of rebounds so you can give Julius Randle a breather. Right? Julius Randle might play 40 minutes. Those other 8 minutes, Obi got to be able to come in and play some defense. Then for the bench for the Hawks, Lou Williams, Kevin Huerter, DeAndre Hunter, Danilo Gallinari, Onyeka Okongwu. And I'm really worried about DeAndre Hunter. I feel like that guy could be an X factor for the Hawks, man, because he can do it all. He can play defense, shoot long distance, rebound. He's a multi-purpose guy. He can be a tough guy. He can be a tough guy to cover, I feel. He can knock down the mid-range. Right? So I really do worry about DeAndre Hunter. Obviously, you know what Lou Williams can do. Kevin Huerter, he's kind of just like Bogdanovich, maybe more athletic than Bogdanovich at this point as well. Right, so they have some weapons. I'd be really concerned with Okongwu. Yeah, Okongwu is a worker down low. So listen, they have a bench.
He's coming along.
Yeah, they have a bench that we should be concerned about, in my opinion. But of course, we have a bench. Derrick Rose been playing. To me, I mean, he's a 6th Man of the Year finals candidate, finalist. That's how you want to say it, finalist. Emmanuel Quickly's had a pretty good season. Alec Burks, he's a guy we really need to step in and step out and do his thing. Kind of be, RJ Barrett could be up and down, but we need Alec Burks to be steady, in my opinion. Of course, I told you what I want to see from Obi Toppin, and we need Taj to be a leader out there. Put in the work that he's going to put in, but be a leader. Do the things, teach these guys, show these guys, help these guys keep their heads cool while being in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Any thoughts real quickly, 30 seconds about the bench? Because I know we got like 6 minutes till tip-off, ladies and gentlemen. I want to get you there. Go ahead, Josh.
Go ahead, Nate.
Okay, go ahead, Nate.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Nate.
Go ahead, Josh. Yeah, I mean, Taj Gibson and Derrick Rose have been through the battles, so they can talk to the young guys if they're freaking out or just have deer in the headlights look. So those two guys are going to be paramount for calming the team down if we get down by a lot or whatever it is. Just kind of let them know, like, hey, we've been through these battles. Just keep playing our game and stuff like that. Honestly, I'm going to go ahead and say it, and I'm sure Kev is smiling where I'm going to say this right now. But this very well could be a lot of Frank time, because I'm telling you, you got 6 fouls to give. You don't want to take Derrick Rose and wear him out. Elfrid Payton, I just don't think has enough confidence to play a lot of minutes. I think Frank very well, you could see him a lot on Trae Young, just because of his size and his length. So get ready.
You could. Go ahead, Josh.
Sweet lemon pepper Lou Williams. That's the person I'm worried about in Atlanta. He's hit big shot after big shot in big games. He's hit big shot after big shot in big games for the Clippers and all the organizations he's played with. So he's the person that I'm really keen in on if I'm the Knicks. And for us, Alec Burks, I'm curious to see what he continues to give us off the bench. We know what Derrick Rose is going to give us. And if Obi Toppin can just give us like good minutes, 10 points or whatever off the bench, I think we'll be okay. So
some boards.
Yeah, and some boards, like 10 points, like 5-6 rebounds. That'll be big, huge for us. So I think we have the advantage when it comes to the bench. So we'll see.
Yeah, no doubt about it. The bench is going to be huge. Alec Burks, huge. You know what I mean? He's got to be huge. He's going to be huge for us, or hopefully he's going to be huge for us. Let me say that. Donald Cannon, thank you for the super chat. He says, Sim, if we lose, it's because of Nate. He cut his hair when we were winning.
Oh,
he was the wild thing. So we want the old Nate back. Let's go. I did notice that. Nice haircut, though, Nate. Nice haircut, man. Nice haircut.
Thank you.
Nice haircut.
Had to do it, man. Had to do it.
Yeah, nice haircut. But give me a call, ladies and gentlemen, 516-405-2246. I think a couple people tried to call in, and maybe you didn't hear to pick up. But if you're available, I think that should be fixed. Give me a call. Again, 516-405-2246. I am watching and paying attention to TNT right now, so I'm going to make sure I get you there in time. Don't worry about it. I got you. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so right now. Subscribe to that channel, ladies and gentlemen. Now, let's talk about the keys to the basketball game, folks. The keys to the game. Here's one of my my first key. And this is the key. This is for this game, probably for this game only. Utilize nervous energy. And you know what's so crazy? It just so happens that as I'm putting up the keys to the game, somebody in the chat, what's his name? Let me see where it is. Christopher M. He said, I'm so nervous. I'm a little bit nervous too. Right? And so if you're nervous and I'm nervous, what the hell do you think is going on in their bodies right now? All of them probably just came out the restroom. Every single one of them probably just came out the restroom. Guaranteed. And if you played basketball, you know what it's like before that first game and your stomach starts rumbling. You're like, oh, God, I got to go to the bathroom now. You know what it's like. That nervous energy, ladies and gentlemen, you got to learn how to utilize and control that nervous energy so that it doesn't send you going crazy. You got to utilize that nervous energy. And how do you utilize it? You got to do it on the defensive end. Grab rebounds, hustle for loose balls. Right? After the first 5 or 6 minutes, that nervous energy goes away. Now you can settle in. Right, but you got to get rid of it on the defensive end. In my opinion, that's how you get rid of that nervous energy. Obviously, guys coming off the bench are going to have a little bit of nervous energy too. Control the pick and roll, though. Let's get into some real basketball stuff. Control the pick and roll. You got to figure out how to control the pick and roll. Trae Young, Clint Capella, it could be devastating if you let these guys go crazy. It could be devastating for us. So we got to control the pick and roll. Offensive and defensive rebounding. especially that defensive rebounding. We got to hit those defensive boards because if we let Clint Capella gobble up the offensive boards, it will demoralize our defense. We could play tough defense. They miss. Capella gets the rebound and gets a dunk, lays it up, gets fouled, whatever he does. You understand? You know what I mean? It's demoralizing. We got to grab those defensive rebounds, grab some offensive rebounds so we can get some putbacks. Transition defense. This goes along with rebounding. One of the ways to cut down on transition defense is to grab a few offensive rebounds. Grab some offensive rebounds, score, make them take the ball out of bounds. But as I said, they can score by taking the ball out of bounds. All right, so we've got to have good transition defense. Someone's coming down, tag a man. You may not pick up your man, tag whoever you're close to, but stop them from scoring in transition. Then we got to keep the ball moving, keep it moving, and have low turnovers. Why? Because this team can score in transition. If we turn the basketball over, they're off and running, off to the races. All right, those are my keys to the game. Caller, you live. What's popping?
Hey, I'm not really nervous because like the Atlanta Hawks coach, he's not really known for having good playoff runs. He's always choking in playoff runs. So I mean, with Julius and RJ Barrett, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm actually not nervous. I'm super happy for Knicks.
Okay. All right. I like that. I like that. Hey, my man, and you don't have to give it to me because I know you're young, but what's your name, a nickname, and where you from?
I'm from New York. My name is Adon, and they call me Z or Zai.
Okay. Hey, I'm glad you called in. Make sure you keep checking with us. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel and check us out for the post game. All right. I know you called in before. It's just I never got your name and everything.
Yeah.
Where you from? Yeah, I appreciate you, my man. Thank you.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
you.
Thank you.
All right. And ladies and gentlemen, please throw out in the chat where you're from. I want to know where everybody's from because, we're getting back. A long time ago, we had this ambassadorship going on. Obviously, COVID stepped in. So we're trying to find ambassadors in places like Atlanta, Miami, Charlotte, Philly. You know what I mean? Drop in there where you're from so we can kind of judge where we need to go to have live meetups and events. Caller, you live. What's popping?
Salute, salute, salute. You got to appreciate, love, and respect this man leading us all the way up to the game. This Jay Boogie, man. Big up, and get them like buttons and respect buttons up to my man Sim, a.k.a. he don't cut his hair. The young Ryan O'Neal, the super fly, you know what I'm saying? Trying to handle our business. Full court pressure. Get him as soon as we score a basket. Don't let him make nothing easy. I don't want him to get him high to the pick and roll. I want to be touching that dude all the way, full court the whole time. And when we play him on the opposite end and he on defense, keep banging him with them high picks. I want to tear that little meat roll run. I want to air him down and be well protected for game 5, game 6. Later on this series, man, you hit him and bang him up now and early. It's going to knock the wind out them later on. Let's go. The city is lit. We on fire. It's been a long time since we got here. Big up to that orange and blue. Respect. We here. All the real pods have been holding it down the situation, and we don't respect none of y'all that trying to act like you're on the wagon right now and ain't been there last year when we were at this point. Salute. Y'all have a great night. Respect. And I'm going to hit that cash app for you. I love you, man. Keep doing what you're doing, man. Salute.
Appreciate you, J Book. That's what I'm talking about. That's the energy we need in the building, ladies and gentlemen. Exactly what we need in the building. And we got 15,000 strong in the building right now, man. We about to tear this thing up. What's going on? We got 1 minute till tip off, ladies and gentlemen.
Hunter starting.
DeAndre Hunter is starting.
For Snell, probably, right?
Yep. So Knicks got the same lineup. So you got Trae Young, Bogdanovich, Clint Capella, DeAndre Hunter, and John Collins. For the Knicks, Alfred Payton, RJ Barrett, Nerlens Noel, Reggie Bullock, and Julius Randle, ladies and gentlemen. The game is about to tip off. I'm going to let you go rock with the game. Please make sure that you catch me at the post game. All right. As soon as the game is over, we're jumping on the post game immediately. All right. Let's go, Knicks, ladies and gentlemen. We are in here. I'm out. Peace.
Go Knicks.
Yeah, way to end it off. That's what I'm talking about. J Boogie in the